And welcome back to this episode of Ask Coach Gallagher. I'm Dave Erickson alongside Greg Gallagher here in Spokane, Washington. And today's topic is training recovery. By the way, if you have a question for Greg, use the hashtag Ask Coach Gallagher on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. So, Greg, you call this the fourth discipline of triathlon. Why is that?
Well, there's the swim, the bike, and the run, and that's all great training. But the recovery part is so important. If you're not recovering, it doesn't matter how hard you're working out and how hard you're training. If you're not getting that recovery, you're losing fitness. You can't train constantly, day after day after day at that high intensity. Your body breaks down, so it needs that time to recover. So the fourth discipline, taking the recovery days.
What type of recovery are we talking about?
So, there's two kinds of recovery. You can have a recovery day during your training week. So with my athletes, I'll have them train 5 or 6 days, and on the 7th day will be a day off. So let's just say Monday's their day off. It starts their week again on Tuesday. They have their big volume on Saturday, Sunday. They take Monday off. So they're recovering from the training that they had done over the weekend and during the week. So then you'll have throughout your month, you'll have three phases of training, which will kind of ramp up, and then you'll have a recovery week. So during that week, the intensity is really low. You're still training. You're not taking the time off. During your day off during the week, it could be active recovery, such as maybe a massage. A lot of times for myself, I'll use a recovery boots. I use recovery edge therapy. That's a pump system that flushes your legs out. Just rest. Sleep is huge. If you're not getting enough sleep, your body's not being able to produce that growth hormone that repairs all the damages that you've done. So sleep is huge. If you can get a nap during the day, that's perfect. If this sleep is so important. The bigger the volume, the more sleep that you need to get. So that's part of the gig is just get the training, but then get the recovery in.
So the key is if we can get those 8 hours of sleep, because that's when our muscles are doing the most recovery.
Right. Because you're not going to gain fitness if you're not getting that repaired body, and your muscles are not getting repaired. And so sleep is huge. Recovery, anything to do active, long walks, massage is huge. So
what about compression gear? People talk about that, whether it's during their training and then post training.
Right. I use some compression socks. Maybe after a long workout or a race, I'll slide on my compression socks. If I'm flying to a race, I'll wear compression gear. That just helps keep that blood flowing through the legs. So, like say it's on an airplane, you're sitting there for so long that blood can end up pooling down into your lower leg. Well, the compression socks help that. After a big workout, I get home, get showered, and I jump into the recovery boots and I sit in there for an hour. I mean, it's huge. It's almost like having a full 24 hours worth of recovery just by having that hour worth in the boots. And again, it's a pump system, and recovery edge therapy is I've gotten a hold of those folks. They're great people. Their product is great. It's just a pump system, pumps from the feet up through the calves, up through the quads. It's worked. I've had some big volume days and use those boots, and the next day I'm ready to go again.
What are your thoughts on ice baths or ice massage?
If I have an acute injury, ice massage is great. Say you got some knee issue, getting that ice in there, and I've done the ice bath. I can't say I'm a fan of it. You sitting in an ice bath for 15 minutes it can be miserable, but I have had to do it. If your body needs that, definitely do it.
One of those great things for inflammation after a hard run, or after you see those people jump in the lake, or after a race at the same lake they swam in.
Oh yeah, exactly. Getting that cold water helps get the inflammation out of there for sure.
And one last thing I think is I know a lot about is hydration, because you need to keep those muscles, the fluid around the muscles.
Oh yeah, certainly. Hydration is huge. You can't lack on that. You go out there and try to perform dehydrated muscles, it's just not going to work out. You'll end up seizing up, causing damage. Hydration, yeah, huge.
We see that in advertisements a lot, where 8-ounce glasses a day for the regular person, but for endurance athletes, is there a range of how many fluids you should be taking in per day if you're a pretty active athlete?
No, I think starting with that 8 is a great starting point. And again, depending on the climate you're training in, is it a super hot climate? Are you sweating a lot? Are you keeping track of your how much you're losing? A good way to do that is you get on the scale before you go for a long run. You go for your hour run, come back, and before you rehydrated, you get on the scale and you can see a percentage of weight lost, and that will be water weight. So then you kind of have an idea how much you're sweating and how much you're losing to be able to know how much to put back in.
Great tips on training recovery. If you have a question for Greg, use the hashtag AskCoachGallagher on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Coach Greg, thanks very much.
Thanks, Dave.